Soon, 1 out of every 5 veterans, 20% of our veterans, are going to be women veterans. So let's salute our women veterans today. And we've got to make sure that the health care they receive is every bit as good and comprehensive as their male counterparts. And that when they come into a VA with their male spouse, that the VA representative doesn't automatically assume that it's the man who's the veteran, but they also look at the woman and say, thank you for your service. And I'm very happy to be here with my colleague Frank Mrvan, who was elected in 2020. And even as a freshman member of Congress, he's now in his 2nd term, but Frank hit the ground running. He became a member of my committee when I was the chairman, and he himself got the title of chairman. He became Chairman Frank Mrvan of the subcommittee on technology modernization. And that's kind of a highfalutin term, and you may be scratching your head, what does the chairman of the subcommittee on technology modernization do? But it's a very important job. It's a over $14 billion oversight over the integration of the records, the medical records, the electronic medical records from the VA with the DoD, or with the Department of Defense. And I've got to tell you, because those records have not been integrated, it makes providing medical care to our veterans when they leave the military, not as efficient as it should be. And I'm afraid to say that there have been some medical tragedies as a result of that lack of continuity and smooth transition. And so Frank inherited a problem when he got to Congress, which was that we've tried 3 times before and spent billions of dollars, and frankly wasted billions of dollars. And Frank's job was to get up to speed and learn about the difficulties we're having this time with the medical records. And I'm happy to tell you that Frank has displayed excellent leadership. He was able to author legislation of his own to provide pieces of the solution. He was the author of the VA Electronic Health Record Transparency Act, as well as the VA Expiring Authorities Act. Both of these laws, very rarely you see a freshman member actually get laws signed by the president, but your congressman did. So thank you, Congressman Mrvan, for helping our veterans. And we know that throughout our country's history, members of our armed forces have come from all walks of life, bound together by a common sense of patriotic duty to defend the country that they love, even at times when it did not love them back. And despite the personal struggles that many minorities, Black, Asian, Hispanic, women, Native, and LGBTQ service members and their families face, these service members of all different backgrounds believed that our country was worth fighting for and even sacrificing their lives for. We are the greatest country on earth, not because we think of ourselves as the perfect country, but as a country that strives always for a more perfect union.
Today we're here to honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice. And we've heard this, the ultimate sacrifice. Sometimes those families that have also made the ultimate sacrifices by their sons and daughters not coming back for defending our nation. And when we talk about defending our nation, we talk about our values in America. Our values of freedom of religion, freedom of press, freedom of assembly. We are the greatest country in the world based on what we believe in and a democracy. And so as we go forward, it is true, how do we honor these individuals? How do we honor young and old who have made that sacrifice, and families who have given their loved ones for our nation? One, it's to make sure that the veterans receive the benefits that they were promised. So as we are on Veteran Affairs, as your member of Congress, my job and my mission is to make sure that health care is accessible, mental health is accessible, that we tackle veteran suicide, that we give all the resources necessary to make sure that there's mental health access. So from the federal level, doing all that we can to honor by providing the benefits that we promised as a grateful nation. And so today, we're here today to honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice. But let us never forget those Gold Star families that still live in our communities, that live in Portage, in Northwest Indiana, of the service that they need. And we'll continue to provide them the support that they have earned.
And it occurred to me, again, with the work that I do on the Veterans Affairs Committee, that a great way to try to remember this day, and every day for them, is to remember the brothers and sisters that made it home. And to remember that our nation is the greatest nation on earth when it comes to training young people to be a soldier. And I personally want to continue to work to make this nation the greatest nation on earth when it comes time for those soldiers to come home and help them learn how to be civilians again.
Frank Gilbert was a firefighter paramedic. He was our only firefighter to die in the line of duty. He was injured in an accident while performing his duties on an ambulance call and died a few months later due to his injuries. Now I could sit here, and I know you don't want to sit here all day, but I could talk about Frank and all the things that he accomplished all day long. I mean, from being a father, a husband, he was a deacon in his church, he was a teacher, he was a fantastic firefighter paramedic. But right now what I really want to talk about is he was actually, during the time of his accident, he was an active member of the U.S. Naval Reserve. So he's also a veteran. I had the honor of working with Frank. He would go on his little trips, and then he would come back and tell us all the stories about what an amazing experiences he had. He was a corpsman attached to a Marine Corps Reserve unit. So he would tell us how all of his units would prepare and all the training they did, and just his total love for everything. And that's Frank right now telling everybody they need to go.
For those courageous, brave, young soldiers who unselfishly gave up all of their tomorrows for our todays, I pray we never forget them, or the multitude of Gold Star families whose hearts were broken over the loss of their loved ones. We are blessed to be at peace here in the United States of America today. And sometimes we take that for granted. Sadly, this is not the case for countries like Ukraine and other countries across our globe.